So I got this graphics card off of eBay. I got it for around $95 after tax and shipping from a really cool person on eBay. I got it in and tested it out and updated the BIOS, and everything on it works good except for the LED across the top, which I'm not worried about. This is a EVGA GTX 1070 FTW. So I've been converting everything that I have over to 10 series cards from my old equipment. These cards are awesome. What I'm going to be doing with this one is taking it apart and cleaning it. I've got the back plate off. It had all of its warranty seals still on it, so it's never been maintained. So I'm thinking this would probably be just to take it apart, clean it really good, put new thermal compound on it, and be done for a bit. Gotta unhook the fans and take the heatsink off, which is pretty easy. So I'm just gonna come in with a flathead and disconnect the cables that way. Boy, they are on there too. All right. Taking the heat spreader, taking the heatsink screws off now. I'm gonna have to disconnect the connectors for the fan and the lights once this comes up because they're stuck. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, it needs thermal compound for sure. Man, this one back here is just stuck. There it goes. Okay, so it's intact. It looks like whoever had it blew it out because it looks better than it did on the listing. I am noticing a theme with the thermal pads on this. They're kind of making everything stick. There it goes. Trying to be as gentle as I possibly can. Get that one screw that's off the back here. All right. There we go. The board is actually flawlessly clean. There's some like bits of dust, but because of that plate, it has kept all the ick at bay. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean the thermal compound off first. Concentrating on this. All right. I may just wash the heatsink anyway, but that's clean. Get a Q-tip in here and wipe the residual off the side of the chip. getting just the big bits of dust that are hung up in the card out. The heat kind of extracts the petroleum and the thermal pads out a little bit over time due to the heat. So I'm just kind of going over and getting some of that up on the Q-tip, which you can see here. It's kind of dark. Oh, this does have a dual BIOS on it. Look at that. I didn't know that. It's right there by the plug-in. Huh. I'll be damned. I thought it was a single BIOS. Okay, so that side's done. It's nice and tidy there. Now the back of this thing is gonna require some detail work. Gonna gently go over the bigger areas that are dirty with the paper towel. Rest will have to be with a Q-tip. Shit's coming out solid. Man, a couple years more running like that probably would have arced over somewhere. It's just got this chunk and layer of like dust sludge. Having to really work the Q-tip under where the GPU is so that I don't screw anything up. I'm just going to take a very soft toothbrush and put some alcohol on here. And I'm going to get this all up in where that crap is and try and brush it out. And do that over here too. Those are just solder pads. Okay, so this is where we are now, which looks really good. There's no caking of dust and junk anymore. Looks pretty good. So we're gonna let that dry for a bit. Everything else looks fine. So this looks good. We're going to put that to the side. Right. And we're going to take everything else that's dirty and just give it a wipe, clean, same thing. And look at that. Just layers of junk. Alright, that looks a lot better. Not chunks everywhere. Should perform better. Set that to the side. Okay, now we got this plate, which actually isn't that bad on the inside. It's the EVGA vents and stylings that have a bunch of crap in them. Right, it's pretty good. It's the heatsink. Heatsink's pretty good. Somebody already blew the heatsink out, so I'm wondering why the LED doesn't work anymore. There's also a little bit of a tolerance gap there. I don't know if that's factory or not. Both the fans are alright. Brush some of this remaining dust out of the fins here. Oh yeah, that works really well. Yeah, honestly, that's so clean now that I don't even have to take this apart to work with that. Yeah, I think that's good. I got this cheap stuff. It works okay for things. It won't work for like a 590, like an RX 590 graphics card, but it works fine for these. Also works fine for CPUs. It's Protronic Series 7 thermal paste. You can get it in a huge tube like this for really cheap. So I did that a while back, and that's why I'm still using it. The only drawback with this stuff is that it's messy. The reason why it's cheap, it is messy as hell. So every time you have to clean it, it's kind of a chore. Forgot the bottom plate here. You gotta put the plate on before you flip it over, and I forgot. So, here we go. Take two. Put the heatsink screws back on. Right, now this part. Cool thing is that all of these screws are the exact same size. I'm going to kind of go out in a crisscross to spread the load out. All right. Here it is. Our brand new, used, cleaned EVGA 1070 FTW. These are beautiful cards. This one's huge. The regular ones are like about this tall. And then this particular one is like a bit bigger. But yeah, right now it's kind of the perfect time to get these. Let's see, what is it? It's April 6th of 2024. And these are going for, these are like 8-year-old cards. The lowest I've gotten one of these has been $95. I've obtained a 1080 at one point, like a month ago, for, see, one of them is a 1080 and a 1070. Like a month and a half ago. One was $100 and one was $125 or something. So they hover around that mark. And for the performance, you really can't go wrong because they're still performing like some of the RTX cards. And a lot of the RTX cards are insanely expensive. It's like one graphics card and you're buying the whole computer. Actually more, sometimes more than buying the whole computer. Because if you're smart about it, you can build a whole entire computer for about $250, $300 for the whole thing. You know, granted, you're not going to be getting everything at Best Buy, but if you know where to order, you can get all of that, and all of that's new. But yeah, you can't beat that for $95. So from cleaning this card, if I had to guess on its history, I would guess it was probably bought new. It looks like the card was used for its normal lifespan for so many years until it started thermal throttling and then sold due to upgrade, which is normal lifespan for a normal graphics card. But most people only use like computers, graphics cards, or CPUs up until they start thermal throttling or they break. Or they break down, quote, because the thermal compound wears out and then they overheat and then they won't let you run them. So people assume they're broken, and the fix is to put thermal compound on new. When you do that, it allows the heat to transfer out of the unit itself, which makes it to where it won't thermal throttle and it'll cool correctly. But yeah, the person I got it from, obviously, they blew the heatsink out for me, which was extremely nice because I pretty much didn't even have to clean the heatsink. I just had to clean the card. So that was awesome.